Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Congressional Democrats are demanding accountability over reports of dire conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the San Diego-based aircraft carrier set a record for the most consecutive days at sea.
The Lincoln and its roughly 5,000 crew members have been at sea since November. The ship was due to return in May, but has stayed in the Middle East to help fight the war in Iran. This week, reports surfaced of low morale, exhaustion, and inadequate food and hygiene. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Trump both dismissed the reports. When a reporter asked Trump whether the deployments were too long, he said,
No, not nearly long enough.
That's shocking even for him. For the president to have said that, I think it's reflective of a real lack of strategy and planning.
Congressman Mike Levin says Trump still hasn't articulated what his objective is in Iran. He says service members and their loved ones understand the work is hard.
We're not saying that these aircraft carriers should be the Holiday Inn. But at the same time, when you don't have enough food, when you don't have clean water, you have plumbing that's backed up, all the rest, you have no port calls for 200 days, then that just gets to readiness.
Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, who sits on the House Armed Services Committee, said in a video posted to X that she's horrified by reports of 2 sailors on the Lincoln attempting to jump overboard.
Normally, aircraft carriers make port every 4 to 6 weeks or so to get food and fuel, fix equipment, and for mental health breaks for the crew. In the past, we've seen deaths by suicide when sailors are stuck on the ship for a prolonged period of time.
The USS George Washington is reportedly moving in to relieve the Lincoln, though it's unclear when the ship will return to San Diego. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Yesterday, an 18-year-old La Jolla teenager pleaded guilty to federal charges for kicking a sea lion at La Jolla Cove. The incident went viral and outraged people around the world. Today, KPBS reporter Alexander Nguyen returned to the Cove to get community reaction and get an update on enforcement there.
This is a typical day at La Jolla Cove. The waves are crashing on the shores. The sea lions are basking in the sun. And the tourists are here for a glimpse of the marine mammals.
They're pretty awesome. You seeing like 6 of them in the cove right here is pretty sweet.
Chris Mazzaros is visiting with his family from Buffalo, New York. Seeing the sea lions in person was the reason why they came down to La Jolla Cove today. Mazzaros was shocked to hear about Tyler Moe kicking a sea lion in a viral video. According to the Marine Mammal Protection Act, it is illegal to assault a sea lion.
You have these sea lions and all of these animals around here that are just a great natural resource to the region. And that a kid would do that to an animal it's reprehensible.
This was not the first time a video of people harassing sea lions at La Jolla Cove went viral. 2 years ago, 2 women got too close to the pinnipeds and were chased off by one of the bulls.
The people would be very close to the sea lions.
Mary Bone is a volunteer with the Seal Society. They are here every day to educate visitors and warn them to keep a safe distance. She thinks the social media exposure about this case brings attention to the issue.
Sad as it was that's the type of attention, it does maybe draw people into the situation and possibly think about being more respectful and making sure other people are more respectful.
Federal law says you must stay 150 feet away from these marine mammals. I want to show you how far away that is. The camera is about 150 feet away.
There are signs everywhere telling people to keep a safe distance. Bone says if it weren't for the high tides, people would try to get closer to the sea lions.
And I can't imagine why anybody would ever try to hurt these creatures that you have.
Harassing marine mammals is a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and a $100,000 fine. Mole is scheduled to be sentenced in October. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
And Mayor Todd Gloria issued a statement that reads in part, "I appreciate our federal partners for taking this case seriously. Our coastline belongs to all of us, and protecting its wildlife requires everyone to respect these animals, keep a safe distance, and follow the law."
Overnight lows still in the low 70s, and that monsoonal moisture, it's sticking with us at least through the weekend. So more clouds, more humidity, though some changes on the way next week. Some you might not love, some maybe a little bit of a positive, especially if you are sick of some of the heat and humidity that we've had. I'll break down exactly what to expect and who sees what changes coming up.
The long fight between Del Mar and a housing developer took an awkward turn this month. In our latest Why It Matters segment, Voice of San Diego Scott Lewis explains.
The Del Mar City Council interrupted their summer vacation to hold an urgent meeting recently. There wasn't a natural disaster, no riot, no cliff collapse or sewage spill. No, they got a letter from a resident. It made them want to officially ask for a criminal investigation. And suddenly, a big issue in Del Mar took a very awkward turn. For years, the city has tangled with a developer who wants to build housing, including affordable housing, on the coast. It's called Seaside Ridge. The owner of the land believes Del Mar has no choice but to approve it. State law requires approvals if the city has not identified anywhere else for affordable housing. And the state attorney general, Rob Bonta, has sent letters agreeing. But Del Mar leaders have found an alternate spot for affordable housing. They want it to go at the fairgrounds. And that has some horse racing industry and fairgrounds leaders nervous. One of them is Mark Arabo, a board member overseeing the fairgrounds. He said nice things about the Seaside Ridge development. And that was the point of the emergency meeting earlier this month. It lasted just 9 minutes. Del Mar City Council voted to ask federal law enforcement and the district attorney to investigate whether something criminal is going on between Arabo, the attorney general, and the housing developer. They admit they have no evidence of anything except for a letter that says Arabo once used a real estate agent who is now working with the housing developer. It's a weird new chapter in an ongoing major story along the coast. For Voice of San Diego, I'm Scott Lewis, and that's why it matters.
The County of San Diego is still accepting applications from older adults for its latest round of rental subsidies. KPBS Penner fellow Emmy Burris reports the demand for this program is high.
Seniors make up about a third of unsheltered people in San Diego County. That's what the most recent federally mandated homelessness count in January found. The county just launched a new round of its shallow rental subsidy program to help prevent local seniors from falling into homelessness. This program will give 195 qualifying low-income adults $500 a month for 18 months to help them pay their rent. And they'll be offered case management to help with balancing their budget and connecting them with other resources.
They're oftentimes, on very limited incomes and having to choose between spending money on medication, food, and that type of stuff and rent. And so it does become very difficult. And so that little bit of extra funding that goes towards their rent can allow them to then look at their household budget, stabilize it a little more.
Beck says the application is still open on their website, but they're piling up fast. A qualified applicant is at least 60 years old, head of household, extremely low income, and spending 50% or more of their income on rent. Their landlord also has to agree to the program. Beck says it's a first-come, first-served system. Once someone is accepted, a county contractor pays the landlord directly. The organization serving seniors provides services and advocates for older adults in San Diego. Their CEO and president, Melinda Forsty, says that programs like this are the most effective ways to help low-income seniors.
These are folks, they've worked their whole lives, they helped raise families, but they're on fixed incomes. And we all know, we hear a lot about affordability. And so as rents go up, as the cost of living goes up, they simply can't make those numbers work.
They conducted a regional study that found most struggling seniors only need an extra $300 to $500 a month to meet their basic needs. Beck says 400 older adults were served in the previous 2 rounds of this program, and this round will offer the monthly subsidy to 195 qualifying households. Those accepted also have to live in San Diego County and cannot use another form of rental assistance. Emmy Burris, KPBS News.
Public Matters is a partnership with KPBS, iNewsSource, and Voice of San Diego. You can see more of our stories at kpbs.org/publicmatters.
I'm William Brangham. Tonight on the NewsHour, the president dismisses concerns over the conditions on a long-deployed aircraft carrier. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Last month, a federal contract that pays for legal representation of unaccompanied migrant children expired. Immigration lawyers tell KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis that as many as 20,000 kids will now face immigration courts alone.
Imagine being 7 years old, representing yourself in front of an immigration judge in a language you don't speak and a legal system you do not understand.
Our analysis has shown that you are 99% likely to be ordered deported if you go to court without a lawyer.
That's Bilal Askariar, Director of Communications at the Acacia Center for Justice, the umbrella organization in Washington, D.C. that, until July 31st, received $350 million in federal funding to represent children in immigration court. Acacia worked with more than 100 legal aid organizations nationwide. But now that the Trump administration let that contract expire, many will not be able to continue to do that work.
Estrella del Paso in Texas announced that they were having to shut down their unaccompanied children work because of the lack of funding. And we're going to see and hear more of that happening.
Askariar says this is a particularly vulnerable population.
These are kids that have been traumatized, that have been abused, that have been possibly trafficked, and those kind of kids don't build trust with an adult they don't know overnight, right? It takes months, if not years, and the government is now saying, nope, that's not your lawyer anymore.
Lawyers who work on these cases are specially trained to work with children. They bring teddy bears to client meetings and use courtroom models made of toys to help their kids prepare for the court appearances. Here in San Diego, many children have been represented by lawyers from Al Otro Lado. The organization is now fundraising in hopes of replacing the lost federal revenue. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
The SAT is part of the college application process for many students. In the Imperial Valley, students often have to travel outside the county to take it. KPBS education reporter Katie Anastas says that's changing later this month thanks to one recent graduate.
When Alexis Huynh signed up for the SAT, there weren't many places she could take it.
So it gives you centers within 10 miles, 50 miles, 75 miles. I think the nearest centers when the first time I took it was about 75 miles away.
She woke up around 4 a.m., then drove an hour and a half from El Centro to Thermal in the Coachella Valley.
Without enough rest and just the stress of taking the drive, it was quite stressful just taking the test.
She knows other students who've stayed at a hotel in San Diego the night before the test, but she knows that's not an option for everyone.
I know a lot of people don't have the means to just get a hotel and stay over for a night.
She started asking her classmates whether they were taking the SAT at all. Many of them said no because of the distance. So she brought her concern to the Imperial County Board of Education.
For us, it was kind of like an invitation.
Denise Cabanilla is with the Imperial County Office of Education. Later this month, the office will host its first test takers at its new SAT center in El Centro.
We're very excited to be able to provide this opportunity to our community.
Cabanilla says Imperial County previously had 2 testing centers. They closed when the University of California and California State University systems stopped requiring SAT or ACT scores in 2020. But the need didn't go away.
And even within California, some private independent colleges require it, as well as some of our out-of-state institutions. And so it really was a gap that needed to be filled.
She says Huynh was the catalyst for closing that gap.
She's really going to make an impact on our community as a whole.
Huynh scored 1480 on the SAT. The College Board says that puts her in the top 10% of test takers. She's about to start her freshman year at Stanford University. She says access to the SAT ensures Imperial Valley students like her have a chance to experience and make up diverse college communities.
Being exposed to so many perspectives and different people's experiences makes college life so much richer.
More than 40 students have signed up to take the SAT in El Centro on August 22nd. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
The Lake Hodges Dam is more than 100 years old. Water levels there are causing concerns about fire risk for residents who live nearby. Hundreds of acres of brush are exposed because of low water levels. In 2022, the city of San Diego deemed the dam unsatisfactory due to concrete deterioration, cracks, rebar exposure, and a hole in the face of the dam. Local groups like the Friends of Lake Hodges are trying to speed up the dam's reconstruction and raise the lake's water level.
So what we're looking at right behind me is very, very dense brush. And that's because of the fact that the lake level has been lowered. So as we've lowered the lake level over the last few years, all this brush that used to be covered in water has now grown. We think it's really important to raise the level of the lake safely, and by doing that, prevent the catastrophic wildfire.
There are two options for the dam: patchwork repairs or a complete rebuild in a different area, which would cost around $500 million. The city of San Diego says it will evaluate potential alternatives to ensure ratepayer dollars are used effectively. There may soon be another bald eagle or two in the Golden State. A relationship may be developing between a male and a female eagle in Big Bear. Experts say KD1 could simply be hanging out and socializing, or could be watching a first date. Brittany Ehrman reports.
Shadow is back in the spotlight, and this time he's not alone. The Big Bear bald eagle spotted at his famous nest with the new female, KD1. The 10-minute hangout giving millions of eagle watchers a glimpse of hope.
We'll have a new mascot pretty soon, so that's exciting news.
That's good for him because it's nature. It happens.
Just days ago, Shadow lost his partner Jackie of 8 years. The beloved bald eagle died Monday after more than 3 weeks of intensive care at the Ojai Raptor Center. Jackie was found injured near Big Bear Lake in July, suffering from severe anemia.
When I heard that she passed, it was really sad.
And I was like, oh no, like this is so sad. But yeah, that was my first reaction, was to send it to my mom.
But now this video is giving eagle watchers something to smile about. KD1 is a banded eagle tracked by biologists since she hatched in the Prado Basin.
If Shadow is in the nest with KD1, that might be a little bit telling. You know, that's very social behavior. And it looked like they were pretty close to each other a good amount of the time.
The sighting has people wondering, could a new love be taking flight? But experts say, not so fast. KD1 is still a little young right now, but by the time mating season arrives this fall, biologists say she'll be mature enough to nest.
We tie our human emotions up and then we project them on the things that we love. And I think that's a superhuman thing. So I'm not knocking that, but we do have to remember that eagles are wild animals and they're going to do what they're going to do.
For now, KD1 is just a visitor, and what happens next is up in the air.
Hopefully this new bird can do just as good as Jackie.
There is hope after tragedy, and at least her offspring are out there, and we care so much about nature, which is good.
Biologists say things could become a little clearer as we get closer to fall, near the start of breeding season. For now, there's no guarantee that this will be a new couple.
Well, our little bit of a cooling trend, it's over. As we head into next week, we warm back up. Now, the marine layer, if you're sick of the fogs, the low clouds early in the morning, well, for the coast, I mean, you're stuck with it. It's how it is, but it's going to become a little bit shallower as we go through the weekend and into next week, so not stretching quite as far inland. Do have a small rain chance to talk about, but not even enough that I'm going to show you future radar. It's just worth a mention so you're not caught off guard. First, though, what to expect tonight. Low 70s in Borrego Springs. Same situation in San Diego, but mid 60s for Oceanside and just a few degrees warmer there in Chula Vista. By the time we get to tomorrow, well, still seeing some of that cooling trend that we've had for the later parts of this week. 101 in Borrego Springs, which you know what, it could be worse. It could be 110 or higher, close to 90 in Ramona there, and then we're in the upper 70s or 80s along the coast. You can see still have some of the cloud cover closer to the coast and up into our mountain regions, more sunshine in some other portions of the region. So overall, looking at the next 5 days along the coast, well, never any big temperature fluctuations here. We go 80 to 82 by the time we get to Wednesday, but you see it right. Humid, humid, humid. It's sticking with us. We do get some improvement as far as the monsoonal moisture backing off a little bit into next week, but not enough to completely get rid of some of the increased humidity that we've had recently. Further inland, well, we're in the mid 80s. We warm back up to 88 by the time we get to Tuesday and stay that way into Wednesday. Indoor mountains, this is where Saturday, there's a very small rain chance. Should not be a big deal. Most of you probably won't even see any rain, but you could. There is that risk there. I want you to be prepared for it. Temperature-wise, we go from 72 Sunday to 77 by Monday, and then we're at 80 by the time we get to Wednesday. There's that warming trend for you. Then we head into our deserts, and no, I don't have a 110 on the map to show you, but 107, well, the heat certainly coming back. So enjoy the 101 for your Saturday while you can. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather's Anna Azalian.
Film Out is San Diego's LGBTQ film festival, and it returns next week for its 26th year. 41 films will screen during the annual 4-day festival. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando previews the queer horror showcased in the festival.
Horror has always been queer.
Horror, by its nature, is queer because horror is the genre of subversion and otherness, and who understands otherness better than people who are marginalized by society. There is a queerness both in the macro and micro sense inherent in horror that I feel like it has always belonged to us, and we're just kind of leasing it to people who are telling us what they think it should be.
Michael Verratti is the producer of Scorch Marks, which will have its world premiere at Film Out. The film was written and directed by Brendan Haley.
Scorch Marks is about a man, an unstable, emotionally drained, desperate person named Beckett, who is currently trying to navigate a very bad breakup, for lack of a better term, and becomes a recluse in the fringes of society when, by coincidence, the apocalypse also happens, isolating him further. And then we start to see supernatural elements come into play, like the spirit of his ex-husband starts showing up and tormenting him.
Beckett, you all right? Why is this all happening to me? Which part? All of it. The whole thing. Ah. Why not you? Despite the odds, you're still here, right?
We have ancient deities from folklore showing up and imposing their own form of terrors or destiny upon him. I leave you to draw your own conclusions when you see the film.
Your world has spent too many bad choices accumulated.
Supernatural horror also spills into the short films, where it gets a more comedic twist in Get Into the Spirit, which screens before Scorch Marks next Saturday.
This is ridiculous. Is this how he manifested to you? Not exactly.
San Diego filmmaker Jonathan Hammond once again brings his blend of horror and comedy to the LGBTQ shorts block with Mask Looking.
New message from Mask Looking, 1,000 feet away. I remember you.
That's not creepy at all. Send. Siri, block Mask Looking.
But a very different kind of horror reveals itself in a pair of documentaries that explore real murders that shocked the gay community. Mineshaft, The Cruising Murders, explores the true crimes that inspired the 1980 film Cruising. It also documents how the gay community protested the film's depiction of New York's gay male kink and leather scene, calling it negative, homophobic, and reinforcing harmful stereotypes that could provoke anti-gay violence.
The word got out, and we showed up.
But my favorite film at the festival is the documentary My Brother's Killer, about the brutal murder of Billy London, a gay adult film actor whose dismembered body was discovered in West Hollywood in 1990.
What do you remember about this case?
I just remember that a head was found in a dumpster.
3 decades after the horrific crime, filmmaker Rachel Mason revisits the unsolved murder in the hopes of stirring up new evidence. The film's a loving portrait of a beautiful young man tragically killed, a riveting crime drama, and a fascinating historical document about being gay in America. Film Out kicks off next week, and if horror or true crime are not your cup of tea, there are plenty of other films and genres to enjoy over the 4-day festival. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And we're expecting a huge crowd for the San Diego Festival of Books, and that is now just over a week away. So please join us on Saturday, August 22nd at the University of San Diego. The QR code that you see on your screen, it leads to all of the details and an RSVP form that you can fill out. We'll have special panels, vendors, and our picks for the next cycle of One Book, One San Diego. And be sure to join us tonight for KPBS News This Week, where we revisit the most impactful and intriguing original reporting of the week. This Week airs every Friday at 8:30 right here on KPBS. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.